Hey, I'm Matt Pinfield. Welcome to 120 Minutes. Tonight, my special guests will be Nick and Peanut from 311. And we'll also have brand new ones from Tanya Donnelly, Death in Vegas, Corner Shop, and at the close of the show, we'll take a look back at the Psychedelic Furs.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down.
This in the night away. This in the night away.
He drinks a whiskey drink, he drinks a vodka drink, he drinks a lager drink, he drinks a cider drink. He sings the songs that remind him of the good times. He sings the songs that remind him of the better times.
Oh, Daddy boy, Daddy boy, Daddy boy.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down.
This in the night away. This in the night away.
He drinks a whiskey drink, he drinks a vodka drink, he drinks a lager drink, he drinks a cider drink. He sings the songs that remind him of the good times. He sings the songs that remind him of the better times.
Don't cry for me, next door neighbor.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never gonna keep me down. I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never g
From the album Tub Thumper, which hit stores on September 23rd, that was Chumbawamba with Tub Thumping. Now, a lot of people might have thought they were a new band, but they put out 9 albums, including this one, in their native country of England. And I'm pleased to be here with Nick and Peanut from 311. Really excited to have the guys here. They filled in for me while I was away last summer, and the only thing that was beat about that, it was great to have them on, but I didn't get to talk to them, so I'm really excited to have you here today.
Thanks for having us.
You know.
Appreciate it.
Nice place you got here.
Absolutely. Now, I've been a big supporter of the band for years, and I remember, doing the thing in Asbury Park down the shore and playing you guys on the radio, and you touring there a lot. You'd play down the shore. I mean, you're touring everywhere at that period. Now, Transistor is a new album. It's amazing. It's got 21 songs on it. Originally, I heard you had recorded 29, but you could only fit about 21 songs in there. But it's still, a double album, really.
Yeah, basically, we wanted to just write as many songs as we could come up with during that time frame, and then basically we just chopped it down to what would fit on a CD, because when a CD goes out, there's always 74 minutes of space on there, and so you know, if you've got, you know, quality material, you might as well fill it up. And our next records probably won't be as long, but we, you know, wanted to kind of give back to the fans and, you know, give a double album for the price of one, because, you know, if 74 minutes of music, you know, 10 years ago would definitely, you know, be two vinyl albums, and records have been getting longer and longer. But, you know, so we just wanted to try and give the most bang for the buck.
But it was also probably because I know that you had said in some other interviews that I'd read that because the Blue album took off after it had already been out for a year, you continued to tour on that record, and a lot of your fans have always followed you, basically releasing a record almost every year. You felt like, you know, want to give something back a little extra because you had that extra time in between.
Yeah, we had, instead of making an album a year, we had 2 years, so there was more of a wealth of ideas to come out. And also, for me, songwriting on the computer and stuff, it's gotten quicker for me to get my ideas down, you know, and it's not computerized music, but just to record it, like using a hard drive, using MIDI and everything, as fast as I can think of things, I can get them down. So the whole songwriting process got quicker, and then we go and flesh it out in the studio and have, you know, redo everything, and everyone's been writing on this new album. There's been more input, where, you know, back in the old days I was doing more of the writing, and, you know, now Peanut and Tim and Chad wrote quite a bit, and I think Essay is like got his first songwriting credits. He's always been writing lyrics, but so all of those things just made a ton of songs, and plus we did the Clash tribute song, White Man and Hammersmith Palais.
What a great song to do too.
Yeah.
Can't wait to hear that.
It's so appropriate too, because it's about the Clash being white boys playing reggae, you know, so
Right.
it's like very, very appropriate.
Yeah, it is, absolutely.
It's been said that I should turn the other cheek, but you're the boss, so you can walk all over me. Soon you learn
From the album Against the Stars, that was the Dam Builders with Burn This Bridge. I'm Matt Pinfield here on 120 Minutes, and I'm talking with Nick and Peanut from 311. Now, one of the things that's misconceptions a lot of times is that the Blue Album was your very first record. Was your third record on Capricorn, and of course you had the independent albums out before that. But another misconception is that you guys came up overnight. I think we should make reference to the fact that you were one of the hardest working touring bands in the country. You really were. I remember you played Asbury Park. You drew about 850 people. I think you were guaranteed $250 that night in a pizza.
Yeah.
And you guys, right?
Oh, it was slim pickings for a long time, but we just felt like we had something to offer, and that, if we just kept out there, that things would eventually happen. And you're right, people do think that the Blue Album is our first album because it's the first that a lot of people had heard of us, and because we called it 311. But really, the whole foundation, there was full momentum going before that on music and grassroots.
Music and grassroots. Each album built up like a really big following, and you had an amazing underground word of mouth fan base. I remember you were headlining Roseland in New York City at that point with basically no radio airplay except for stations.
A little bit of attention,
yeah,
not much.
So, and that was great. So I think that's something we should make reference to. And that was one of those things where you just loved to play, right? That's why you just went out and toured and wanted to do your music, right?
Yeah, I mean, we have been working pretty hard because for the past, for 4 years, we would record an album and do a tour with 120 shows, both in every year. And then in this last, after the Blue Album, we thought maybe we were moving a little too quickly, and that if we kept touring for 2 summers instead of just one, kind of give the audience a chance to catch up. And so I guess that's why it kind of blew up.
It really did, and it's great. It was well deserved. We'll be back with 311 in just a bit. Until then, check out the top 10 singles in alternative music this week around America. Welcome back to 120 Minutes. I'm Matt Pinfield, hanging out with Nick and Peanut from 311. The new album, Transistor, was produced by Scott Ralston, who's been a longtime friend and engineer.
He goes by Scotch now.
Does he call himself Scotch?
He's a drink.
Is he? Is he a big Scotch
He's
fan?
a drinker and a drink. He's a tall drink of water. But yeah, we originally had met him. He was assistant engineering on our first couple of records, and he's just like one of us. He's in his 20s. He's from Missouri, we're all from Nebraska, and basically he gave up his studio job to come out and tour with us, and just because he believed in the band so much, and so he kind of earned the right, or we rewarded him by letting him produce this record, and it turned out to just be the best decision ever. And this was the first record he's produced, and it's like,
Although he's worked with Rick James.
Did he?
Sorry to break it.
he assisted, but
He worked with him.
What did he work on?
he let his
Right, yeah.
But we like to.
He needed it. He deserved it. He did a good job. He rose to the occasion.
We like to start people off. Our manager Adam. We're the first band that he's ever managed, and
He's
Scott,
younger than Tim.
Yeah, Scotch is the this is the first record he's produced, and it's really important for us to start people off and be loyal and stay with the same people and keep it all in the family and just the whole grassroots thing.
Right, hence the name of the album. But you have done that. I mean, you kept a close family, and obviously that works, And you must have felt really comfortable with him in the studio for that reason, right?
Yeah, I think that the mood of the record reflects how relaxed we were working with Scott and everything.
Absolutely.
Hi.
Now, we'll be talking more with Nick and Peanut from 311, but first, we have the latest from Talk Show, which is Robert DeLeo, Dean DeLeo, and Eric Kretz of Stone Temple Pilots, and singer Dave Coots, who used to be in a band called 10-Inch Men. From their self-titled debut album, this is Hello Hello, 120 minutes. It's really cool. Check it out. I'm Matt Pinfield, and I'll be talking more with Nick and Peanut from 311 right after the break. And a little later, we'll take a look back at the Psychedelic Furs, so stay right here, all right?
Don't walk away in silence. Don't walk away.
So I'm Matt Pinfield, still here with Nick and Peanut from 311. You had 3 albums out that were self-produced before you released music on Capricorn. Your fans email me a lot, you know, and I'm in contact with them, and also you probably know from, and have heard from your, you know, your home pages and all the web pages that people dedicate to you. People would love to find out how to get a hold of those records. Now, some of the songs, of course, you know, appeared on music from the earlier ones.
Some of them made the crossover.
Yeah, but let's talk a bit about that. Is that something you ever have any intention of making available to your fans at this point?
Well, we're kind of split in the band of whether or not to do that because, you know,
On one side,
some of us want to, and
yeah, on one side it'd be a really good idea, you know, especially for the fans, because just to get more out there so they can hear the whole culmination of the process, what it took to get us from here to there.
Right.
But in another way, it sounds so bad that we really don't want anybody to hear it. But what's happening now is people are bootlegging it so much that it sounds so bad that you can't even tell what it is.
So it sounds even worse now, so
Yeah.
you're thinking that maybe you should put it out so they
getting
think
more
it's
and
not nearly
more-
as bad.
Yeah, it's getting more and more a better idea to get it out eventually. And
There's-
in one way or another, it's going to.
there's probably like 5 really good 311 songs that didn't get redone,
Right.
you know, and I'd like to see them come out sometimes.
So let me tell you, it was great to have you by. Thanks
Thank
for coming
you.
by, guys.
Thanks, Matt.
Enjoyed having
This,
you.
and this guy, back when he was a DJ in Jersey, was spinning us when no one else would, and that was like 4 or 5 years ago. So we
thank
owe you one.
No, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. No, man, the music was great. That was definitely payment enough. We had a great time with it, man. Made the station sound better, too, because it was cool. You know what I mean? It was doing it. It was great. Make sure you check out 311's new album, Transistor, as well as the early stuff like Grassroots Music and the self-titled Blue album. The Enlarge the Show detail home video, which also has a CD in it with some extra tracks, and you can see them on tour with Goldfinger and also Fishbone on select dates later this month. You've just entered the second 60, 120 minutes.
Janet, you're next. Get ready. And don't forget to smile. Bring out that personality. Bring it out. Bring it out. That's the girl. Listen. All you do is listen to my voice. Listen to me. All you see is yourself. Janet, good job. You've come a great distance. What you have to do
Next
now-
up, Janet Louise from St. Andrews.
Come on, Janet, no fear. Woo! Come on, Janet. You go, girl. Woo! Who is this doing this synthetic type of alpha beta psychedelic fucking? Who is this doing this synthetic type of alpha beta psychedelic fucking? Who is this doing this synthetic type of alpha beta psychedelic fucking? Who is this doing this synthetic type of alpha beta psychedelic fucking? Who is this doing this synthetic type of alpha beta psychedelic fucking? Who is this doing this synthetic type of alpha beta psychedelic fucking? Who is this doing this synthetic type of alpha beta psychedelic fucking? Who is this doing this synthetic type of alpha beta psychedelic fucking?
From the album Dig Your Own Hole, that was the Chemical Brothers with Electrobank. And I think that was Dr. Octagon, actually, the sampled voice in that one. We'll take a look back at the Psychedelic Furs in a little while, but first, we have the latest from ex-Furs member Richard Butler's band, Love Spit Love. Now, after the demise of their former label, Imago, the band signed to Maverick and will release their second long-awaited album next week titled Try Some, Eat One. They'll be doing a bunch of radio live dates over the next several weeks, followed by a U.S. tour, on which, rumor has it, they'll be playing a few Psychedelic Furs classics like Mr. Jones and I Want to Sleep With You from both mine and Richard's mutual favorite Furs album, Talk, 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 in addition to material from the two Love Spit Love records. And one of the songs we'll be playing is from this one. It's from Try Some, Eat One, Love Spit Love, their new video, Long, Long Time, on 120 Minutes tonight.
If I seem to make no sense, I make no sense. Sometimes it never shines, it can't shine all the time. And I can't speak through one more scene, I can't talk all the time. There's a promise in your mouth, is that what this was all about? You've got to until forever. Let's have less of getting clever with me. You're wasting your time and my time as well. La la la, living a lie. I guess the time will tell. You're making excuses for the things you've never done. Walking in circles, blinded by the sun. Blinded by the sun. Who would you blame for blowing the flame right out? Is it me? There is no doubt I can do what I want to do from now until forever. Let's have less of getting clever with me. You're wasting your time and my time as well. La la la, living a lie. I guess the time will tell. You're making excuses for the things you've never done. You're walking in circles, blinded by the sun. Blinded by the sun. I don't mean to sound unkind to you. You just have to go and find something else to do. And don't ask me what went wrong. The list goes on. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. The list goes on. I'm done.
From their debut album, Do It Yourself, that was the Seahorses with Blinded by the Sun on 120 Minutes tonight. Now stick around, because right after the break, we'll check out the latest from Beck, and a little later, we'll take a look back at the Psychedelic Furs. Don't go anywhere.
Hi there, I'm Chad. I'm Ed. We're half the band live. We've been sitting here talking about some of our favorite records, things to check out. I've been really digging Luscious Jackson since we've been on tour with him. Fever In, Fever Out's the name of the record. It's a really great album. Jennifer Charles, singer on our song Ghost, on our new record Secret Samadhi. Her band is called Elysian Fields, so you should check that out because I think it's pretty amazing.
Hello, we're on 120 Minutes MTV.
Welcome back to 120 Minutes. I'm Matt Pinfield. Right now we have the latest from Beck. It's called Jackass. It's the third video from Odelay. Fans will definitely want to check out the CD single, which contains a couple of cool Butch Vig remixes, a mariachi remix sung in Spanish, and the B-sides Devil Got My Daughter and Brother. Beck's kind of on a family tip there with the B-sides. In addition, you can catch Beck performing live this Thursday at 8 p.m. at the MTV Video Music Awards, where he's nominated in 7 categories. Right now, though, here he is with Jackass from the album Odelay on 120 Minutes tonight.
I've been drifting along in the same stale shoes. smiled when the gravity shackles are wild, or something is vacant when I think it's all beginning. Drifting along in the same stale shoes, loose ends tying a noose in the back of my mind. If you thought that you were making your way to where the puzzles and pagans lay, or put it together, it's a strange invitation. It's a strange invitation. It's a strange invitation. It's a strange invitation. It's a strange invitation.
Hi, I'm John Ashton.
I'm Richard Butler.
We're from the Psychedelic Furs, and you're watching 120 Minutes on MTV.
We'll shake this house. We'll shake this
late 70s in England was an amazing place to be for great music, and when the Psychedelic Furs formed in London in 1976, they came onto a scene that was already being fueled by bands like the Pistols, the Clash, Generation X, Echo and the Bunnymen, and Depeche Mode were coming out with some stuff too that was a little different, and the Furs' 1980 self-titled debut that featured their early singles, Sister Europe and We Love You, only added more fuel to the fire and helped open doors for bands that didn't play full-on thrash punk at the time. Marked by Richard Butler's Bowie-esque vocals and extraordinary lyrics, Tim Butler's bass playing, and the guitar effects of John Ashton, the band went on to record great albums like Talk, 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 which is a classic featuring the original version of Pretty in Pink and Into You Like a Train, Forever Now, an amazing album, which had a lot of things like Run and Run and President Gas, and several other records like Mirror Moves with The Ghost in You, and 1987's Midnight to Midnight, which produced their biggest hit single in America, Heartbreak Beat, and also was the beginning of the end for the band as they broke up a few years later, and it was, I guess that was about 1993, that's right. Now, Richard Butler went on to form Love Spit Love, and they're set to release their second album next week, and there's a Psychedelic Furs double CD compilation titled Should God Forget, which should be out sometime in October. We're going to leave you tonight with a song from 1982's Forever Now called Love My Way. Hope you like it. I'll see you next week, and my special guest will be the Sneaker Pimps for 120 minutes. I'm Matt Pinfield. Good night. Have yourself an awesome week.
It sounds good, you know, and there were so many names that sort of implied violence at the beginning of the 80s that it was just something I wanted a name that people would look at and think, oh, that sounds different. What the hell are they calling themselves? Psychedelic Furs. This is, you know, punk rock we're talking about here. And we just wanted a name that sounded different.